Christopher Columbus came across the land that would come to be known as America, and he could soon find himself in a scrap heap.
That's because, as his detractors will tell you, Columbus didn't discover America so much as kickstart the massacre of the Native Americans already living here. Outspoken Denver school board member Tay Anderson says that's reason enough to take down the Columbus statue in Civic Center Park.
And while we're on the topic, what about Mount Evans and its namesake, John Evans? He was eventually forced to resign as Colorado's governor over his contributions to the Sand Creek massacre.
Denver 7's Megan Lopez tonight on Colorado's less than perfect past and how to address it in the present.
All around Colorado, there are reminders of our history, from our street names to our mountains to our statues. They serve as reminders of how far we've come and what we've endured. But amid nationwide protests, there are now questions about whether it's time to change the statues, change the names of the people we revere and those we honor. Art has a way of capturing humanity, a feeling, a moment in time. All across Colorado, there are monuments to the moments we hold dear. But during this moment, in this time, questions about whether these moments are the right ones to revere. In Civic Center Park,
this is something that that our indigenous communities have been fighting against for decades.
Growing calls to remove this statue.
Our values change over time.
Or not so much the statue itself as a plaque down below.
The son of the sculptor has mentioned that it was not his father's intent to sculpt Christopher Columbus.
For now, the plaque that honors Christopher Columbus has been covered up, but Councilman Chris Hines is restarting those conversations.
I think it's time to remove the plaque. And I think it's also time for us to consider what might go in its place.
At the steps of the Colorado Capitol, a short walk away, a different approach.
Colorado was involved in 2 Civil War battles. They were both in New Mexico.
At the base of the monument to the Union regiment that kept Confederates from moving west, a reminder of a darker moment in their history.
That same regiment, overseen by Shivington, that went and killed women and children and old people at the Sand Creek massacre.
Not removing the statue, but putting it in greater historical context. All across Colorado, there are reminders of our history, both good and bad. But in this moment, at this time, a deeper conversation. A conversation about who we continue to honor and why.
It seems to me there's an honest reflection.
I think it's really more of a question of who do we pick as our heroes.
Our assumptions of history and our assumptions of who writes history.
That we might have deep conversations about why they were erected in the first place.
This is the right time for us to be challenging those assumptions.
Megan Lopez, Denver 7.